Director's Reflections for August 6 of 2023. The Birded Newspaper. It was spectacular writing. All of its editors sported beards, very fashionable in those post-revolution times of April of 1965. That they conceded for the most part with this particularity did not obey any premeditated resource to differentiate themselves from the others. It was a spontaneous concurrence of identities, but they achieved the effects. By the time the newspaper was founded in 1970, I repeat, the beer was a very distinctive hallmark among young people, and in particular among the students of the Autonomous University of Santo Domingo UAS. Those who wore them were identified as supporter of the revolution, of the left, or associates of communism, as the government's secret services suspected at the time. Only the inside of a director like Rafael Herrera linked this characteristic, common to the editorial staff of the evening newspaper Última Hora, to make it stand out with a certain humor in an editorial in the listing. On the occasion of a new anniversary of Última Hora, Herrera came up with the idea of naming it the newspaper of the very people. And without neglecting a touch of fine irony, he also called him the spoiled son of listing, because despite the fact that it was a newspaper of the same company, which operated a few meters from the listing headquarters, its information line and editorial was hotter, more vibrant and poignant than that of Centennial Father. It was directed by Virgilio Alcántara, a journalism teacher who was part of the listing style correction desk, and was headed by Gregorio Garcia Castro, brutally murdered in 1973, a short distance from both headquarters. They were the only non-beard executive at the newspaper. The rest of the staff, such as Aníbal de Castro, who later became editor-in-chief and director, still have them, although Brian. Three veterans, such as Jose Gonzalez and Jorge Burnigal from the sports section, and Mario Emilio Perez, did not have beards either. They claim that they were hairless so that they don't confuse us. The Pharaoh General Perez y Perez, one of the most commanding military figures in the Balaguer's time, did not like these bearded journalists very much. He told Guarionex Rosa, who was one of them, one day they couldn't be friends until he took it off. Guarionex replied that it was an orthopedic beard, thus drawing an indulgent laugh from the general. I don't know if the other bearded men, Aníbal de Castro, Luis Minier Montero, César Rivera Espaillat, A.K. Riverita, César Medina, Alfredo Freites, Augusto Obando, and Juan Bolívar Díaz had suspicious experiences for that reason. But I do remember that at a reception in the Green Room of the Palace in 1969, President Balaguer went to greet the journalists, calling them by their names or short names, and after extending his hands to Guarionex, whose face is supposed to be he was familiar because he was the reporter from the palace, he stopped a bit strangely and said, "Oh, excuse me, I didn't recognize you with that beard." How scathing the doctor was. For Listing Diario, voiceover and translations by Indira Rodriguez.